is your name, please?
My name is Manny Balistrero.
What is your name, please?
My name is Manny Balistrero.
What is your name, please?
My name is Manny Balistrero.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one of them is the real Manny Balistrero and is the only one sworn to tell the truth.
Geritol, America's #1 tonic. Geritol, the fast-acting, high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast, presents To Tell the Truth.
And now, here's our host and dealer in fact and fiction, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much and good evening. This, as you know by now, is a game of deliberate misrepresentation in which four presumably smart people try to find out which of three challengers has sworn to tell the truth. So now let's get to the business at hand, which is, first of all, meeting our cross-examiners. What is your name, please?
My name is Polly Bergen.
My name is John Cameron Swayze.
My name is Hildy Parks.
My name is Dick Van Dyke.
And I can attest that these people are telling nothing but the truth. Now, standing right up here are three people, all of whom claim to be the same person. By name, Manny Balistrero. To tell the truth, only one of these people is the real Manny Balistrero. The other two have assumed his identity in an attempt to fool our panel, our cross-examiners. And, of course, they don't have to stick to the truth, you understand. Now, panel, if you will open the envelope in front of you, you will find a photostatic copy of an affidavit. Would you please follow along while I read it? I, Manny Balistrero, am a musician. For 5 years, I played bass fiddle at the Stork Club in New York City. On January 14th, 1953, I was arrested for armed robbery. For 24 hours, I was held and questioned by the police, and later released in $5,000 bail. In April, I stood trial and was identified as the robber by 4 witnesses. After 4 days, the proceedings were declared a mistrial, and a new trial was set for July. On April 29th, 1953, the real robber was apprehended and confessed, establishing my complete innocence. Later that year, Life magazine published a 7-page feature on my experience. And recently, Alfred Hitchcock made a movie called The Wrong Man, in which I am portrayed by Henry Fonda. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Manny Balistrero. Now, we'll put our panel to work on this in just 30. And it's time now to play our game. These three people all claim to be Manny Balistrero, who was arrested for a crime which he did not commit. Remember, panel, only the real Manny Balistrero is required to answer your questions truthfully. Each of you will question until you hear this bell. At the end of 5 minutes, you will be asked to register your vote for the one person who, in your opinion, is the real Manny Balistrero. And, panel, because of the nature of the affidavit which I read to you, I must reserve the right to disallow any question regarding specific names in the case itself. All right, if you understand that clearly, let's give the first 30 seconds to Hildy Parks.
Thank you. Number one, could you tell me where you were living in January of 1953?
I was living in Jackson Heights.
In Jackson Heights. And how did you go home?
By 8th Avenue subway.
By the 8th Avenue subway. Number two, would you tell me the full name of a bass fiddle?
The bass fiddle.
Number three, do you agree with that?
I do.
Number one?
It's the bass.
And could you explain to me, number one, what is a contrabass?
No, I don't think I know.
Number one, how many strings on a...
Sorry, Hildy. Dick Van Dyke.
How many strings on? Number one, did you see the movie The Wrong Man?
Yes, I did.
How closely do they stick to the real facts in the story?
Fairly close with few exceptions.
There were a few exceptions?
There were, yeah.
Could you name one?
Well, for one thing, they stated that I was held in $7,000 or $7,500 bail. Actually, I was held in $5,000 bail.
No reason for that discrepancy?
None at all. There was another one there about the number of witnesses that was supposed to have identified me in the In the picture, they showed two witnesses as identified.
And there were actually four.
Actually, four.
Number two, did you see the picture of the wrong man?
No, I haven't seen the picture. And I don't think I care to see it.
You don't think you could see it?
They didn't think he cared to.
Oh, I see.
Polly Bergen.
Number three, while the picture was being made, did you have a chance to meet Mr. Hitchcock or Mr. Fonda?
I met Mr. Fonda.
Do you happen to know what Mr. Fonda's nickname is? The name he's called by most of the time.
Hank.
Number two, could you tell me what was the specific place where people first mistook you for the armed robber?
You mind repeating that, ma'am?
Where were you? Where did you go on the particular day when you were arrested? Where did you go where you were mistaken for the armed robber?
Well, I was visiting my mother at the time.
Number three, where did you go where you were mistaken for the robber?
I was visiting my mother.
John Cameron Swayze.
Number two, why were you charged with this crime?
Well, it was strictly a case of mistaken identity.
And where were you picked up?
I was picked up in front of my home.
Who put up the bail?
Well, my brother-in-law raised, among the family, raised about $2,000.
Number one, where were you picked up?
I was picked up in front of my house.
How many police questioned you?
There were 3 policemen that questioned.
Number three, what's the name of the head waiter? What was the name at the time you were at the Stork Club?
Gregory.
Number two. Number one.
Gregory.
You know Alfred Hitchcock? Number two. You know Alfred Hitchcock?
Sorry, John. Hildy?
Number one, when you were a musician at the Stork Club, are you there now, incidentally?
No, I'm not.
What are you doing now, sir?
I'm still a musician, but I'm not there.
I see. When you were playing at the Stork Club, what time did you have to be in the evenings?
At 7:30.
At 7:30. And number three, what time did you get through playing at night?
At 3:30.
And number two, did you leave your instrument at the club or did you take it home?
We left it in a special room.
In a special room. And what was the name of the orchestra leader, number two?
Peter La Rotonda.
Number one, how many members in the orchestra when you were
6.
playing? 6 members. And what were they? What were the instruments?
Sorry, you, Hildy. Don't take it out on me. Dick?
This is worse than the police grilling. Number one, it says you were questioned for 24 hours by the police. Why couldn't you produce witnesses to establish your whereabouts at the time of this robbery?
I was pretty much in a daze at the time, and I didn't get a chance to even think clearly. It wasn't until later on that my wife and I tried to get some of the witnesses.
Number two, the answer to that same question. Could you produce witnesses?
Would you repeat the question?
Why couldn't you produce witnesses to prove your whereabouts at the time of this robbery?
Because at that time, I wasn't identified yet by anyone.
Number three, where were you actually at the time this robbery took place?
Oh, I was about 60 miles away from here.
Could you have established...
Back down to this end again, Polly.
Number one, where were you when the robbery took place? The first robbery that they accused you of?
The first robbery took place in July. I was out of the city at that time, and I could have established it if the trial had been completed.
I see. Number three, did you have witnesses? Were there any witnesses to prove that you were not around when the insurance company?
Yes.
Did you reach any of them?
Shutting you off right in the middle. Oh, I'm sorry, Polly. John?
Number two, a mistrial was declared. Why was that?
Well, one of the jurors stood up and made a certain remark, which called for a mistrial.
How were you informed that the real robber had been caught?
I was in, my brother-in-law had come to the club. He told one of the boys in the other band, a piano player by the name of Jack Elliott, and he was the one who told me.
Did you tell me the name of the head waiter at the Stork when you played there?
Gregory.
Gregory is correct. You say you've never seen the picture. Were you a technical advisor on the picture?
No.
Do you know Mr. Hitchcock?
No, sir.
What procedure was used?
Right, that's it, cross-examiners. Time to separate fact from fiction. You should have enough of both right now. This is a secret vote, as you know, because the amount of money our challengers win depends upon the accuracy of your individual selection. So will you please mark your ballots? In the meantime, while our panel is voting, we'll give you good folks at home another chance. Take a final look at our team of challengers so that you can make up your minds whether the real Manny Balistrero is number 1, number 2, or number 3. Now, may I have the ballots, please? Now, as you know, there were 4 votes cast, 1 from each member of our panel. The team of challengers will get $250 for every incorrect vote. That means, of course, if you fool everybody and nobody guesses the right one, you can divide $1,000. All right, let's see how well we did. Hunt your vote tonight, Polly. This is Polly Bergen's ballot. She votes for number 3. John Cameron Swayze marked his ballot for number 1. Hildy Parks believes it to be number 1. Dick Van Dyke has marked as his choice number 3. Oh. Well, there we have the 2 ends against the middle now. As you see, number 1 has 2 votes. Number 2 has no votes. Number 3 has 2 votes. Are you ready, panel?
No.
Come on.
You're all set. Okay. Will the real Manny Balistrero please stand up? Thank you, sir, very much. Now, let's see. Number 1, who are you really?
I'm really Bill Ehrlich, and I'm a square dance caller.
That's pretty glib there, too. And number 2, sir, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Kitsos Antoniou, specializing in Greek and Turkish music.
Greek and Turkish music.
Greek and Turkish music.
Any questions you'd like to ask Manny? Now you know who he is. Yes, Paul?
Mr. Balistrero, could you tell me, didn't you actually go to get your wife's insurance policy, something about having it checked when you were first discovered, or was that a fib in the movie?
No, it was something like that.
Oh, because that's what I meant when I asked you, where were you when you were first discovered? And you all said you were at your mother's, which threw me for a minute. No, because I'd seen the picture, and I know that at the picture you had gone into the insurance company or whatever it was that had been robbed, and that's when they said it was you. And it wasn't.
What are you saying?
What did I say? Anyway, forget
I'd like to ask you a question. Manny, what are you doing now, and where are you located?
Well, I'm living in Miami now.
Oh, are you?
I've been down there about 14 months, and that's my home.
Of course, I suppose an obvious question would be, have you learned anything specifically out of this experience?
Oh, not people have been so wonderful to us.
You really found the value of friendship out there, didn't you?
That is so true.
Find out who will stand by you in those cases. Well, congratulations to you. You for your wonderful future ahead of you now. You two for being very excellent challengers. And let's see how we stack up now. As you can see, there were only 2 incorrect votes for a total of $500 from Geritol. Take it along and divide it up. God bless you all, and thanks for being with us tonight. And now let's have our next team of challengers, please.
What is your name, please?
My name is Pat Rizzuto.
What is your name, please?
My name is Pat Rizzuto.
What is your name, please?
My name is Pat Rizzuto.
And 2 of these people are imposters. Only one of them is the real Pat Rizzuto, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth.
So here, panel, we have our second problem for the evening. These 3 people all claim to be Pat Rizzuto, and as you know, only the real Pat Rizzuto is sworn to tell the truth. Now, if you'll open the other affidavit in front of you and follow along while I read it, we'll find out more about this Pat Rizzuto. My name is Pat Rizzuto, and I live in Hillside, New Jersey, with my parents, 2 sisters, and a brother. I am a patrol leader in my scout troop, and as a hobby, I collect autographed pictures of baseball players. One of the red-letter dates of my life was the night I had dinner with Ed Sullivan. At this time of year, I spend most of my free time ice skating. But in the summer, I play baseball with the neighborhood team. My favorite position is shortstop, which is not surprising since my father played that position with the New York Yankees for 16 years. His name is Phil Rizzuto. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Pat Rizzuto. Here we go again now. Time to play our game, and these three people, as you know, panel, all claim to be Pat Rizzuto, whose father played shortstop for the New York Yankees. Now remember, only the real Pat Rizzuto is required to answer your questions truthfully. Again, you will answer each time in succession until the bell rings, and you'll continue for 5 minutes, at the end of which time you will be asked to cast your ballot for the one who, in your opinion, is the real Pat Rizzuto. And this time, let's begin our questioning with John Cameron Swayze. John?
Number 2, what's your father's nickname?
Scooter.
Did he ever play with Kansas City?
No.
Number 1, did your father ever play with Kansas City?
Yes, he did.
What profession is he taking up now that he's leaving baseball?
Well, he has two, really. He's going to be a announcer this year, and also, when the baseball season isn't in session, he's going to run the American Clothes Shop. He's a salesman there.
In what town?
Newark.
Did you ever go to spring training with him?
Yes, sir.
When you play baseball, who pitches on your team? Where do you play? Tell me that.
Oh, I play up in school.
Tell me how your father started in baseball. You must know the story.
Well, he was turned down by two New York clubs, Giants and Dodgers, and the Yankees signed him up.
Take it away there, Hildy Park.
Number 3, could you repeat for me the Boy Scout oath?
Well, because on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Number 2, what are the Girl Scout laws? Give me 5 of them.
A Girl Scout is thrifty. A Girl Scout is clean in word, thought, and deed. A Girl Scout is kind to animals. A Girl Scout is helpful. A Girl Scout is a friend to all.
Thank you. Number 1, how did you... There he goes.
There he goes again. I'm sorry, Hildy. Dick Van Dyke.
You all three look like your father. Number 1, Bud said your father was with the Yankees for about 16 years, I believe. How many of those years did he actually play ball?
Well, he was in the service 3 years, from 43 to 45.
And then he came out, so that makes 13 years of ball play.
That's right.
Let me ask number 3 there. It says you're a patrol leader in the Scouts.
Yes, sir.
You can't be a patrol leader if you're a tenderfoot.
No.
What do you have to be,
About
at least?
first-class scout or above.
A first-class...
First-class scout.
What are you now?
I'm first class.
You're a first-class scout. How long have you been a patrol leader?
Molly?
Number 2, who is the founder of the Girl Scouts?
Juliet Lowe.
Where is the international headquarters for the Girl Scouts? Number 3, do you know where the international headquarters are for the Boy Scouts?
Well, no, I don't know that either.
Number 1, do you know?
No, I don't.
Doesn't really matter. I don't happen to know either. I just wanted to... maybe I might trick somebody. If they'd have given me an answer, I would have been stuck. Number 2, how did you happen to have dinner with Ed Sullivan?
Well, we had dinner at the restaurant where Guy Lombardo does his television show, and Ed Sullivan was supposed to appear on the show the same night my father was, and we had dinner at the same table.
I see.
John Cameron Swayze.
Number 3, what was the first ball team your father was with?
Well, he was at Kansas City minor league club.
And then he went to the Yankees?
Well, after he was turned down by the Giants and Dodgers.
Wound up in the Yankees?
Yeah.
What's the name of the clothing store where he works or manages?
American Clothing Store, sir.
Do you know his batting average? His last year?
Well, his last year was about 353. 253, excuse me, sir.
Bat right or left?
Right.
Is he one of the first ones that started wearing the protected cap?
Yes, sir.
Where do you play neighborhood baseball?
Well, there's a park right near our home. It's one of the community parks, and they have a diamond there just for that.
Hildy Park.
Number 1, what are your 2 sisters' names?
Cindy and Penny.
And your brother?
Herb.
How old are your sisters?
My sister, one is 13, one is 10, and my little brother's 2.
Oh, I got that one for nothing, didn't I? You're an ice skater. What kind of skates do you use?
Hockey skates.
Did you start off on hockey skates?
Yes, I did.
Have you ever done much speed skating?
Well, that's what hockey skates are for.
Oh, well, that shows where I am.
All right, cross-examiners, time to separate fact from fiction once again. What'd you do? Missed one you wanted to ask?
No, it's figures.
Please mark your ballots, if you will. And again, here's a final look at our team of challengers for our good friends at home so that you can make up your minds whether you think the real Pat Rizzuto is number 1, number 2, or number 3. Now, may I have the ballots, please?
Just a minute.
I don't know anything about baseball. I don't even know what he looks like.
I'm gonna
You're going to switch? Who are you
Yeah, I'll
voting
switch.
for, John?
I'm a switch hitter.
You're not going to tell. All right. I'll hurry. There.
All right. Now, again, there were 4 votes cast as before, 1 for each member of our panel. And our challengers will get $250 for every incorrect vote. If nobody guesses the right one, you have a total of $1,000 that you can divide up. So get set now and see how our panel voted. This is Polly Bergen's ballot. She votes for number 1. John Cameron Swayze marked his ballot for number 1. Hildy Parks believes it to be number 1. Dick Van Dyke has marked as his choice number 2. So now let's take a look here, see how the voting went down. For number 1, there were 3 votes. For number 2, there was 1 vote. For number 3, there were no votes. Panel, are you ready?
Has to be number 3.
It has to be number 3?
It has to be.
Just because it figures from past percentages? All right, now, before we meet the real Pat Rizzuto, let's meet the real Phil Rizzuto. Now, Phil, will you come down and claim your own offspring, please?
Yeah.
Has to be. Has to be.
I knew that face.
Yeah.
Hi, daughter. Hi, son.
I knew
that. This is her.
Over here, Phil. What do you want? Polly first and then Dick.
Why did you say your father didn't play for Kansas City?
I forgot about it.
Such a tanning you'll
Because
get.
in the eyes, she looks like the pictures I've seen of.
You remember Phil. You just can't miss it. How about you, Dick? What you want?
That's the same thing. She forgot her
question.
Oh, are you going to get it when you get it?
Phil, I have a question for you, though, because, an awful lot of people, including myself, are pretty saddened when you broke your connections with the Yankees, but now I understand it's all been cemented again. You're going to work for them. What are you going to do?
Yes, yeah, I'm going to be broadcasting with Mel Allen and Red Barber, but between you and I, Bud, I'd like to be out at shortstop next year.
Oh, I'll bet you will. That's going to be kind of rough. Well, good luck to you, boy. I hope it means the start of a whole new, wonderful career, just as your last one's been. Let's find out about the other 2 now. Young man, number 1, who are you, really?
Well, my real name is John Lahr, and my father's name is Bert Lahr.
Wow. And now, number 3, who really are you?
Well, you ought to know, sir. My name is Mike Collier, and you're my father.
Oh, dear. Time is running at pace here so fast, I don't even have the chance to stand here and say, that's my boy. Well, you did a great job because you saw what happened. There was only 1 correct. 3 incorrect means $750 gets whacked up between you 3 youngsters. Good luck to you. God bless you, and thanks for being with you. Phil, God bless. Now we'll return to our panel in just... And now, unfortunately, it's time to say goodnight to our panel, whose names, in case you have forgotten, are...
My name is Sergeant Bilko.
My name is Joe Frisco.
My name is Sonia Henney.
Robert Hall.
To tell the truth, my name is Bud Collier, saying goodbye until next week. Good night, everybody.
Travel away.
for To Tell the Truth are made through American Airlines. American Airlines flies our contestants in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flight ships. To Tell the Truth is the Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production. In association with the CBS Television Network.